Good morning Year 7 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Let's start off with a quick starter, shall we? What's the perimeter of the rectangle I've drawn? Can you work out 12.5 times 7 and then can you find 1/3 of 9 for me? Pause the video and have a go at those questions in your light blue books please. Okay, let's go through the answers. To find the perimeter of a rectangle, Dan, what does perimeter mean? Exactly, the distance all the way around this rectangle. So if I start here, the first part of my perimeter is to walk 10 centimetres, which takes me to here. I then need to walk down 3 centimetres, which takes me to here. I then walk across the bottom of the rectangle, which is another 10 centimetres. And then I need to complete my loop, walking all the way back up the other side. So I've got 10 centimetres plus 3 centimetres plus 10 centimetres plus 3 centimetres, which gives me 26 centimetres altogether. Question number 2, I asked you to find 12.5 times 7. Now to do this, I'm going to do a column multiplication. I'm going to start by ignoring that decimal place and just say 5 times 7 is 35, 2 times 7 is 14 plus 3 is 17, and 1 times 7 is 7 plus 1 is 8. And now I need to put my decimal place in. We've divided 125 by 10 to get 12.5, so I need to divide my answer by 10, which will give me 87.5. And finally, to find 1/3 of 9, Lily, what do I need to do? Great, I need to divide 9 by 3, so 1/3 of 9 is going to be 3. Okay, Year 7, a quick recap of last lesson. We said that lines are given names showing where they start and finish in a shape. So here's my shape A, B, C, D. What name do I give to the green line? Well, the green line joins points B and C, so we call it BC. We normally put them in alphabetical order. And the red line joins points A and D, so we're going to call it AD. Over to you, Year 7. In your light blue books, pause the video for a minute. What's the name given to the green line and what's the name given to the red line? Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, let's go through the answers. So the green line is called what, Macy Jane? CD, exactly, because it starts at C and it ends at D. And the red line, Felix, what do we call that one? AB, brilliant. So we've used this notation to label line lengths. However, we also need to be able to label angles. Now we can label angles using lowercase letters as I've shown in the diagram. So at point A, I've got an angle here and I've called it little a. For point C, I've got an angle and I've called it little c. And for point B, I've got an angle within my triangle and I've called it little b. So that's one notation you'll often see. But what is an angle? An angle is the space usually measured in what, Jasper? Degrees. Perfect, we measure angles in degrees. So an angle is the space, usually measured in degrees, between two intersecting lines or surfaces at or close to a point where they meet, which basically means we've got two lines, they meet at a point, and the angle is the space between them, or it measures the amount of turn. Just like lengths, we need sides to be labelled so that we can talk properly about angles. Here's a triangle. I've labelled it ABCD. If I'm asked for the angle ABC, this means the angle at point B between points A and C. So we've called it ABC. So the angle we're talking about when we hear the name ABC is the one that starts at A, goes through B and finishes at C. So we're starting here, we're going through B, and we're heading all the way over to C. So it's this angle here at point B, that middle letter. This can also be written just as below. Sometimes you'll get a worksheet which will have a little angle sign and we'll say ABC. It means the exact same thing as when there's a little hat on the middle letter. So Year 7, in your light blue books, what's the name of this angle? Pause the video, have a little think. Okay, so the name of this angle, we're starting at B, we're moving through A, we're ending at C. So I'd call this angle BAC. It can also be called CAB, because that would mean we're starting at C, going through A and ending at B. Both of those are perfectly valid answers. Okay, Year 7, how about now? What's the name of this angle? Right, this time we're starting at A, moving through C, heading to B, so we'd call this angle ACB. You could also call it BCA. So how about now, what do we call this angle? This time we're starting at Q, going through P, ending up at R, so we could call it QPR, or alternatively you might have started at R, gone through P, ended up at Q, and called it RPQ. So how about now? What do we call this angle? Write down your answer in your light blue book. Okay, so this time there's multiple possible answers. We could call it BCD. We could also call it DCB. I would also have accepted ACE, starting at A, moving through C, ending up at E, or in fact ECA. So there were lots of possible answers you could have come up with for that one. But how do we measure angles? Angles are usually measured in what, Freya? Angles are usually measured in degrees, which we write as this little 0 symbol. What do we use to measure an angle? I've drawn a little picture to help you out, Ellen. A protractor, brilliant. You're going to need a protractor for today's lesson. So here's some examples. I've got two angles here and I'm going to measure them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my protractor, line it up with the bottom of the angle, like so, and then I'm going to look at where my line extends out from. I'm going to make my protractor a little bigger so I can see it. There we go. So this angle here is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 and 2 little degrees. So it's going to be 102 degrees. Let's have a look at the other one. I line up my protractor in exactly the same way on that little corner. And this angle is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. 55 degrees. Okay, Year 7, in your light blue books, how big is this angle? Pause the video for 30 seconds and write down your answer now. Okay, so we're looking at the green angle. Here it is. And it's 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees. How about now? What's this green angle? Okay, we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110 degrees this time. How about the green angle now? What's this angle? This time we've got 90, 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 150 and 1, 2, 3 degrees. So 153 degrees. How about now? What's this angle? Okay, good spot. If you'd noticed, the green angle starts from this side this time. So we're starting here and we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 degrees this time. How about the green angle now? Okay, this time we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 and 2 degrees. How about now? Let's have a look. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 150 degrees. How about now? Here's a challenge for you. What's this green angle going to be? Pause the video and write down your answer in your light blue book, please. Okay, this time we haven't lined up the bottom of our protractor with our angle, but we can still work it out. We know we've started at 40 and we've gone 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 degrees. You could have worked it out as 120, take away 40, that would also work. Well done if you got that right, Year 7. So what happens when I'm given an angle and it's over 180 degrees? We've gone beyond the protractor. How do I measure this one? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my protractor in exactly the same way as I normally would to measure my purple angle. I'm then going to draw a line which shows me where 180 degrees would be. So this bit would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 180 degrees would be this bit here, all the way around to here. I'm now going to rotate my protractor. Round it goes, because we need to add on the remaining part of the angle. So I line it up. I know that we've already gone 180 degrees to get to here. And we need to add on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 and 1, 2 degrees to get all the way to the end. So this part here is 102 degrees. So the top part here was 180, and then this extra bit that we've added on from here to here was 102 degrees. We need to add those numbers together to find out the total purple angle. So we've got 180 plus 102, which gives me what, Ione? 282. Great, 282 degrees. Okay, Year 7, at this point you're going to need to take out your protractor And using the printed off worksheet that I've attached on Google Classroom, can you complete the measuring angles worksheet? Use your protractor to extend the lines and measure each angle, remembering if it's over 180 degrees to mark on where that 180 degrees is, and then rotate the protractor and add on the extra bit. Please complete this worksheet now. This should take you about 15 minutes potentially, and the answers are up on the board. Now, if these are your answers, please check your work and see how you did. And if you've still got time and you're feeling confident, please pause the video, print off the other worksheet, the extension worksheet, and have a go at these questions now. This should take about 10 to 15 minutes. If you've printed the PDF in black and white, make sure you match up each of the colours using this video so you know which angles it's talking about in part A. Please also ignore this part of part B where it says angle ACD because you'll notice that doesn't exist. Please pause the video and spend 10 to 15 minutes on those questions now, please, using your protractor to help. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. And that's the end of today's lesson. Thanks very much for listening, Year 7. Can you now head over to Google Classroom and complete today's exit ticket? Have a lovely day and see you tomorrow.